Hey guys, it's Allie with Chaos Monkey, and I am doing my finish for a Knitcrate. So I was going to add it onto the Knitcrate video, but I didn't get it done till the following month. This is actually for a November Knitcrate. So I got it done in December, so I'm just doing a quick separate video. I didn't actually get a December Knitcrate because I put it on hold because I wanted to get the sock crate. And it looks like I got the sock crate, so because they had a waiting list and all of that, so now it looks like I'll be getting the December sock crate. So when that comes in, I'll do an unboxing for you guys. But here is the project that I made, which was, we'll go ahead and flip to it here, November. And I'll link the unboxing video in the little eye up above so that you can just click on that if you want to actually see the unboxing. But this was for November, and it was the colorway Shoreline. And it is in the Knitology Glowing Worsted, which is a 40% merino, 30% alpaca, and 30% silk. At the time I wasn't sure what I was going to be making because it was so had so much silk and alpaca. But I actually made the mitts for the, I don't want to give away the pattern, for the set here, which is the caudal fin cap and mitts. And there's the cap, and I made the mitts, and let's see, I just want to tell you any changes I did. They ask that you use a size, hold on, I think it's over here on the cap portion. Size 8, it looks like, for the mitts. I actually went down to a size 5 on Magic Loop. But keep in mind, I made these to fit me, and I have, you know how I have really skinny hands and arms. So if you want to make it, I would say I'm probably like teenager size. If you want to make it for like a normal adult, you might want to go up to 6 or 7 size needles, depending on your gauge. But I went all the way down to a 5 from the 8 that they requested, and I'll show you how they fit here. Because remember, cables give a lot of stretch, so I knew I was going to get a ton of stretch. So I have big hands, but they're skinny. So I have very long fingers, long arms, and big hands relatively. So I went down to a 5, and I did one extra row up here. I think they had you stop at row 25, and I went to 26 before I did the 3 rows of the ribbing and the bind off, just because I know my fingers are longer. And those are the only changes I did. And you see it's the same on both sides, and the cable travels up. And with the tighter gauge too, because it's a silk and alpaca, it will tend to slip and be kind of a bigger size anyway. So I wanted it tight so that, because of the content of the yarn, so that it would fit better. And it does, it fits really nice and snug. They're really comfortable. They don't feel like they're going to slip off my hand. There's lots of stretch, you can see here. So there you go. Yeah, I really like these. I'm not so crazy about the color, only because it looks flesh colored to me. It's very close to flesh, and there's a lot of pink to the brown up in person. So it doesn't look like a sand color to me. It's a little weird of a tan. There's too much of a pinky undertone in person. It looks more brown on camera. So I'm not real thrilled with the tan on it. You know what I mean? There's just the tan color. I do like browns, but the tan's kind of eh. But I really like the yarn. The yarn is really nice to work with and very soft. And hopefully with my tighter gauge it won't pill too badly. It was my only concern, is it rubbing, for mitts, it rubbing here and getting pilling, but to be honest, everything pills really when you use it, so hopefully with a tighter gauge I can prevent as much pilling, is what I'm trying to say. So, and I just followed the pattern as is. The pattern is really easy to read. There's a graph, and the graph is correct, and no problems with that at all. Really easy. And I really like the traveling cable, because it shifts. If you can see here, it starts here, and then you shift it over, and then you shift it back, and you kind of just do a straight, so this cable just runs up, and then there's a side cable. So I really like that. I don't think I've ever made anything with like a traveling cable that goes all over the place, so that's really cool. And I think I did add maybe another couple of rounds to the thumb, only because my thumbs are longer, but that's the only changes I made, was just for length and down the needle size. So I didn't wash and block them because, you know, they're for me, and I really didn't find a use to have to block because they're big and squishy with the cable work, and the cable work's popping out beautifully, so I was like, wow, why bother washing them? It's just me. So I'm not sure, just to say that as a disclaimer, is I'm not sure how the yarn performs after washing and blocking, because I haven't washed and blocked this yarn from Knit Picks yet. So I can't testify how it behaves after it's been washed. So hopefully it will just bounce back and be normal without any problems. I did do magic loop, so I just kind of split the pattern up front to back and just repeated the pattern. She has instructions for double points. I don't do double points, and just keep in mind if you do magic loop that you want to go down a needle size more than you'd normally use, because inherently magic loop kind of makes things bigger. At least it does for me. It does for a lot of people. Just because you have it kind of on the cord, all the stitches kind of stretch out and relax a little more than they would tightly on DPNs. So just keep that in mind if you decide to do magic loop on these, and you know you normally use a certain size needle, you might want to kind of go down a needle size, only because magic loop will make it loosey-goosey, which is why being on a 5s fits really nicely with these. So keep that in mind, is that I did use magic loop. If you do 5 DPNs to get a similar size, yours might be tighter. So definitely do a gauge swatch depending on what you're using. Always do a gauge swatch on whatever needles you're using. But do keep in mind that magic loop tends to just be a smidgen larger. You got to watch that in sweaters and things like that too. Just as a tip, that anything magic loop will tend to have a little more relaxation in the stitches than if they were tight on the needle. And it can change the overall gauge and sizing just enough to kind of throw you off. So I think that's it. Oh, I wanted to show you guys, I only used one skein because I went down a needle size. Here's the tag. Shoreline, 40% merino, 30% silk, 30% alpaca, 150 yards. So I used, if I can find my leftovers, almost all of it. Oh, my leftovers. Oh, here they are. Here's my leftovers. So I have maybe 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and maybe 6.5 feet, so 2 yards slope left over out of that yardage. And I have, if I can find it, a full skein left over right here. So I could actually do another pair of mitts. Probably have to be close to the same size because I didn't have a lot of leeway here to work with, but I could do another set out of these mitts with another skein. And I wasn't crazy about the hat, which is why I'm not making the hat, and the cowl takes both skeins. So I'm kind of happy because I didn't want to have any leftovers. I didn't want to have like half a skein left over or even a third of a skein. And so I didn't want to cut into the second skein for just the mitts. But the hat, let me see, the hat takes, oh come on, 192 yards for the hat, and there's only 150 yards per skein. So I don't have enough for the hat even if I wanted to make it, which I was didn't really like the hat. But I could make another pair of mitts, and I can't make the cowl. But at least I have a full skein left over, so I'm okay with that. I don't have like a partial skein hanging out in stash. So, and like I said, I have big hands this way, but they're really skinny. So what? But I think when I usually make mitts, I usually do an average size. I just have to make them longer because I have longer fingers. So I guess, you know, this would fit a lady's, I would say small, medium, or a teenager, of course. And but to make anything bigger, you're probably going to have to break into the second skein. And then have some leftovers and figure out something to do with it. But I was pretty happy I ended with a full skein, so I can make another pair if I want to. Because the yardage is a little limiting. I think this is considered a worsted. And I think that's pretty close to a worsted. Yeah, on this one, but it's only 150 yards, so with suggested needle size of 8 to 10. So that's not going to go very far. And it does say hand wash cold only, so that's good to know. Because I usually block things in like warm. Because cold can shock the fiber. So why they say cold? Lay flat to air dry. So definitely not superwash. But that's interesting with the cold. I've never blocked anything in cold or hot because that will shock the fiber. But maybe, I guess, that's the way you block alpaca? I don't know. You guys tell me if you have to use cold to block or to wash or block alpaca. So anyway, that's it. That's my finish for November's Knit Crate. And like I said before, I will be getting my December sock crate here pretty soon. I think they just shipped it day before yesterday. Like and subscribe because that really helps get me up on the YouTube algorithms when you like and do, you know, and comment and all that good stuff. And I'm going to go ahead and do another video of just my current finishes. I'm doing another video on doll clothes finishes. And so there's going to be probably, I'd say like 3 videos coming out with this one. So we will get those done. Alright, you guys, I will talk to you later. Bye.